here today with Lightning. Lightning, thanks again for coming on. It's good to see you in person, not on Zoom like we did. Was it in 2020 we did our last episode?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, been looking forward to this.
It's good to see you.
Yeah.
So give us an update on what you're up to lately. What's
we got the varsity team. Actually, today we're going to Landon, and they've won their conference the last 2 years. They clocked us last year, and we got clocked by Sidwell Friends, which is the best team in D.C. Got all these good scheduled teams, and they clocked us Sidwell earlier in the year, and then Landon played Sidwell, and it was pretty close, fairly close. So I'm expecting. I told the boys, the result of all that.
You guys are going down there today,
right?
Yeah,
we're going down there today. Yeah. They came up here last year. They beat us here. Every day's a new day. Sports, anything can happen. We're looking forward to it. And, we just got back from Tennessee.
Yep.
Had played a big event down there some really good teams from the South.
Yeah, that was surprising to me to hear that the Southern. I mean, I know Southern tennis is pretty good, but I didn't know they'd be that good.
Yeah, I mean they have a lot of tennis down there. You'd be surprised. Play a lot of good high school tennis. We were at that tournament about, I would say maybe 6-7 years ago, and it's gotten stronger actually, which is unusual because most of the events that we go to, the teams have kind of. They're going kind of down a little bit slowly. But this event, the kids were better than I remember it.
So you did away with the California trip. You did that a couple years ago.
Well, what happened with the California trip was unfortunate. The gentleman who ran it for 22 years, he was the coach at this tennis coach at Corona Del Mar High School in Orange County, near Newport Beach. And so he ran the tournament in two places. University, high school, and Corona Del Mar. And the athletic director was on his team at Corona Del Mar. So the athletic director at Corona Del Mar played on his team, had a great relationship, and then it fell apart. They got into a huge argument. I don't want to go into the details, but over money. And of course. And so he just got really upset with the whole deal, and he said, well, he's 82. He said, I don't need this.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do the tournament. So he sent out all the emails to all the coaches that played all through the years and said, anybody want to take up the tournament? And there were no feelers. And it was like weeks were going by. And I was thinking, whoa, we might get shut out maybe on a trip or some good competition for the boys, good experience for the boys. And what happens if nobody picks it up? Somebody might. But so I called Tennessee up, and they said, they were great.
Yeah.
Southern Hospitality, they said, love to have you.
Yeah.
Just send in, some UTR ratings. All the boys didn't have UTR ratings, but they took us anyway.
Well, I like how you try to arrange that every year to do a trip, because I feel like when any team goes somewhere, they get to know each other better. There's a little bit of bonding, and especially with the tennis team, I feel like that's good for the team, good for the momentum going into the season for a spring break trip like that.
Yeah, we've been a little spoiled over the years.
Yeah.
We went to California 7 times to Orange County.
Yeah.
Now we know Orange County almost as well as we know Baltimore. I mean, we were out there so many times, and it was great. The beach, and we got to the beach and played some nice weather, and the tournament was great. The facilities, we had a really good time out there. So yeah, that's a trip. Maybe maybe we'll do it again next year.
Yeah.
So you never know.
So one of the things I like about your coaching philosophy is that you've got the handwritten, go-to quotations on the tennis hut, right? You write down the kind of the motto for the year. What are some of those mottos? What are you guys focusing on this year in 2024?
Just
on the tennis team?
A lot of John Wooden quotes. Just do the best that you can be. You can't do more than that. Things like that. What? Or you're out here for, something to do because, you're required to do some after-school activity, or are you here to do something? That's a big one.
Yeah.
So, just some things like that. And I don't know, what do I have up there now? I have the Italian quote, like Vini, Vidi, Vici, I came, I saw, I conquered. We have up there, just trying to make it fun.
Yeah.
And I don't know if the boys read the quotes at all. They're more. They only come over to the door where we have the quotes to look at the practice points. Who's got the most practice points?
Oh, you do the point system with the varsity too.
Who's got the most match wins?
Yeah.
Because they get prizes. The top 2 finishers get prizes, and they're pretty decent. I go into my pocket and I bring out some nice stuff. I mean, not crazy, but nice stuff they can use. Maybe some nice water bottles or things like that. I come up with some clothes or something cool, and so they fight for that. Actually, they really.
I should use your point system more maybe in the classroom, or I don't know, with my own lacrosse lessons. I think the point system is great. Even if there's no prize at the end, people are just so competitive for points, just to have points, you know.
One of my students coaches these girls they're like 8 years old, and she saw the writings up on the door there, the point system. She was looking at it, the schedule, the wall, and the whole thing, and she said, I'm going to do that with my girls. So she started this, she got on the computer and she got, she got the organized, and she started doing who got the most ground balls per game, who gets the most goals, who gets the most assists, and she made up all these different things. And she says the team went like, it was like, whoa, like what happened? Everybody's like so motivated now.
Yeah, and it's just tally marks. That's all it is.
She's I'm always asking her how she's going. Oh, that system is great, and she tweaked it, did it for her own thing, and she's enjoying that. So I got that actually from Port Washington Academy up in Long Island, New York, with Harry Hopman. They used to have a ladder there, like a ladder, with names like 1 through 25. Couldn't get on the board unless you were in the top 25 in the program. And they would have McEnroe there, Vitas Gerulaitis. These are, great players. Won Grand Slam tournaments, finals of Grand Slam tournaments. A lot of guys. Fritz Buning, Peter Rennert. Could go on and on. It was really a hotbed back in the 70s. And he had that system going with the ladder. And they kill each other. They fight so hard to get up on that, to get their name higher up on that ladder.
Yeah.
And so I got that kind of that system with the points and the match wins, sort of from Port Washington.
So with your camp that you've been doing for a long time, did you travel with your camp at all, or has that always sort of been in Baltimore?
The camp is, this is the 40th year.
40th year.
The summer camp.
But have you traveled to different places, or has it just been Baltimore based?
Yeah, I've taken some of the. Well, I had I do my tennis program too, so that's 40 years old also. So we have some kids that used to come out, and like our top players played on Friday night. They come out, play a couple hours, and then we go out and get something to eat, and it was a good night. And so we had our top players playing on Fridays, and we did travel some, believe it or not. We went to D.C. We played over at the Regency Racket Club in D.C., which has one of the only there's only like 4 of these courts in the United States. They're called court tennis. It's like what Henry VIII used to play on.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of court tennis?
I've heard of court tennis. Yeah. I've never played.
They have one in New York. They have one in
Philadelphia.
Yeah. And in McLean, Virginia. That's a club we played. And I went out there and I was hitting the ball around like Henry VIII. And it was, you hit it around it goes around the wall like squash a little bit. But it's a big court, tennis court. It's great. It's a lot of fun.
It's different from padel.
Yeah, it's definitely different from padel.
Padel's so fun. I love padel.
It's so fast, that game. It's really, compared to pickleball, of course.
You're not a fan of pickleball, are you?
Well, the one experience I had with pickleball was not the best. We went down to play Severn last year, and they had a park that they played at. They don't have any courts at the school, Severn. And they had, about 6 courts on one side, and then they had some courts on the other side. And they had like 3, and then another 6. So we played, singles, and then we played some doubles over here. And I went over to watch the doubles, but by the time I kind of got over there, because I was watching the singles like a set, each match, the pickleball people had come out. It was like, because we didn't start till 4:30 with introductions and all that. And so I was over at like 5:30. I was starting to filter down. I still noticed the pickleball was set up on those 6 courts. And then they started playing. And I was watching our guys play the doubles. And the sound of the pickleball, just that sound. Mm-hmm. Man, I'll tell you, after 10 minutes, I was like bonkers.
Yeah.
It was like, oh my God.
Well, that's the biggest complaint.
I got to get out of here.
That's the biggest complaint with it is the sound.
I couldn't take it.
Yeah.
But people who play it, they don't really hear the sound because they're so involved in the game. They don't, it doesn't bother them, but it bothered me.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Well, that's the biggest complaint with pickleball. Like, people don't want pickleball courts being built near their houses now because the sound and
I can't imagine.
wake everyone up. And I think they're trying to make a noise-canceled pickleball. And I think that's
Sunday
the next
morning
thing.
at 7 o'clock in the morning, people have sold their homes and moved in different areas.
Yeah,
There have been lawsuits.
I'm sure.
And then the tennis people and the pickleball people get into arguments because it's a tennis court, but now the pickleball people get there first and they take it over, and they can't play tennis.
Yeah,
So
they're putting new lines on the tennis courts.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, and some arguments develop, and I don't know. It's not.
But it's growing. I mean, people are getting into pickleball. It's the fastest growing sport in the United States. It's a big industry. A lot of tennis players are investing in pickleball, which is interesting. They're part-time owners in these pickleball companies.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I, don't support that. I support tennis. It's been, I don't know, very, very good to me. Was that guy back in the day, the comedian? Yeah, I'll support the tennis, but I'm not supporting the pickleball. I don't like to see guys who made millions and millions of dollars, men and women, go out and promote pickleball. I'm sure they do some stuff for tennis, but I like to see them do more for tennis.
Yeah.
And so that's just me.
So when you watch tennis now, who are some people that you enjoy watching? Who are some players that you enjoy watching now on the professional scene?
Well, Carlos Alcaraz, when he's playing well, he makes it look so easy. He's like the Federer of our day now. It's just he's so smooth, fast. He's got all the shots. Yeah, he's fun to watch. I was going to look up the rankings that Sinner is moving up, the Italian. It's all Europeans.
They're both, I think, the same age. They're 20.
Zverev, Djokovic is still around, 37, but Father Time's catching up to him. He fired his entire entourage.
I saw that.
Coach Goran Ivanisevic. They won I don't know how many Grand Slams together. He fired his manager that's been with him since he was like 17. He fired everybody. His physical trainer, massage therapist, psychologist.
Didn't he just win Wimbledon? No?
Carlos Alcaraz won Wimbledon last year. He beat Djokovic in the final.
Yeah.
That was the big, I have a picture. It was in the New York Times of match point after, and all the people, they showed a whole side of the court. Still have it. It was in the New York Times. It was 2 pages. And they showed everybody standing up, but every single person. Oh God, it's hard. It's hard. You got to see the picture. But they were all smiling.
Yeah.
They
wanted to see Joker fall.
They're all rooting against Djokovic.
Yeah.
Which might motivate you, but it can also be, after a while, year after year, it can be a little. Get to your head.
Djokovic of course, he has an ego, but I feel like to be that good, to play at that level, you've got to have that ego, a little bit of that edge. And almost, in some ways, you like when people root against you because that fuels your fire if you're that type of person like him,
Yeah, I mean, tennis is a big ego sport, mental sport. You've got to have it, really believe, and it's you got to have it there. And yeah, he's got it. He's got it going.
Yeah.
But I agree with you that you have to have a certain attitude on the tennis court. You have to feel like a couple things. One thing, you have to feel like somebody's trying to steal something from you. Like I don't know if you ever had anything stolen or taken.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it bothers you. So that's you have to have that attitude when you go out that this guy's trying to, take something away. You got to be hungry.
Right.
Very hungry player, Djokovic. And yeah, the mentality, big part of the game.
So when you were playing, how did you, I think we maybe talked about this last time you were on, but sort of what were some of your exercises, or how did you train your mind, if that's the biggest component, just a ton of practice and reps?
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to put too much in there because you can't process that all. Of course, you have to, a big thing that I used to do was like if I start, because you're out there and by yourself, and of course, if you're not playing well or you get behind, a lot of negative thoughts can creep in because you have time between points. You're walking over to the other side. What are you thinking? You're sitting down on the changeover. What are you thinking? Oh my God, you're panicking, like semi-panicking or in your mind, or do you believe you can, do this? And so a lot of times when I get those thoughts, I think it's human nature to have those. I say the word stop in my mind. Thoughts go away, and I try to replace it with positive thoughts, like I can do this. Come on, we can do this. We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
Keep fighting, and that really helps. But like I was telling the big three. I was telling the boys the big three. One, I don't know if you observe a lot of the players, because sometimes on TV they don't show them, but a lot of guys, they fiddle with their racket strings in between points.
Yep.
They're walking to the other side to return serve, and they're kind of fixing their racket strings, but these racket strings don't really move too much. But they're just putting their concentration in their rackets. And, then they go up to return serve. Sometimes they put their hand up like, I'm not ready, and then they go into it. And that's really good to do that.
Right.
So I used to do that. I saw Jimmy Connors do that, and I imitated him. And the other thing that is very good to do, and I noticed a lot of the players were doing it when I went out on the tour, they take a towel behind the court. And even if they're not sweating, like the first game, what are you toweling off for? You're not even sweating, but they go back to the towel, and they just kind of towel off a little. Even if not sweating, it's just a ritual.
It's a reset button.
It's a ritual, reset, yeah. Calm down, And so they towel off, and they keep the towel, take the towel to the other side, the whole match. They got the towel. They go back to the towel after points. You got 25 seconds. It's a long time. Don't rush, So that was big. And then the third thing I noticed that some of the guys, vamos, the Spanish guys, vamos, they get into it,
Mm-hmm.
Even this is like pre-Nadal. I'm talking about the 70s, and you see guys even getting into it. Some of the guys were getting into it back then, not unsportsmanlike, but just pumping themselves up, And so I tried to get into that, and it really worked, It's like, it was cool.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
And the crowd, if you have a fan or two in the crowd, they're clapping extra hard, and it's fun. It's fun to compete.
Yeah.
I love to compete. I used to say to myself, there's no place in the world that I'd rather be now, not Los Angeles on the beach in Santa Monica, where I used to live. I mean, not anywhere than right here, right now, fighting this out, like in France or something. I mean, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So it's a cool life if you have that attitude.
Now, when you played, did you have any of this new meditation that you're working with now? And I know that you're working with the varsity tennis team on some meditation. Did you do any of that when you were playing?
I wish I did, actually.
Yeah, because it's helpful.
I find out like 2/3 of the top CEOs of the biggest corporations in America are meditating. I mean, who knew about this? So we have a meditation coach. He's a former student of mine. He went to McDonough. We're not going to hold that against him. And got into this Hong Sau, HONGSAU, Hong Sau, Indian from India, meditation. And yeah, it's really cool. It's like half an hour every day. And I think that, my blood pressure went down, 10 points. It's a practice that requires, discipline, because you have to try to do it every day.
You do it in the morning?
I was doing it in the morning. Now I'm doing it more at night. I do it, and now I'm doing, instead of in a chair, I'm doing it on the floor. Trying to get more in touch with the floor.
Lying down?
Yeah, lying down with some pillows and stuff, on the head, things like that. And yeah, so it's, I like it. My wife likes it. She's happy, I'm happy. And yeah, he went down to see the eclipse in Texas.
Oh, nice. It was a good eclipse in Texas. Yeah. That was where to be.
Yeah, and they had a big festival down there.
Yeah.
And he's into a different trip. He's not into the material capitalist system. He's kind of removed himself from that. He's into more of a spiritual trip. And yeah, it's he has some great stories and some good advice. So he's been I think a great addition for the boys. But you have to do it. That's the thing. You
got to do it every day.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
So when you spend these 30 minutes doing this exercise, is it a lot of breath work? Like how does he set you up? How does he set the boys up? Are you lying down and breathing, or what is it? What is it like?
You fill up your stomach. You breathe through your nose, and you fill up your stomach with air, like a balloon. You're blowing it up, and then you hold it for a count of 6. You blow it for a count of 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then you hold it for 6. And then you breathe out like a balloon losing its air for 6. That's some breathing to warm up. Okay? And then after you warm up, you pick a nostril and you breathe through just that nostril. Concentrate on that nostril. Like I always do my left side.
Oh yeah, I've done that before. Yep.
So you're breathing, and then letting coming out of the nostril, because you're blowing the air out. And you do that for a while, and then you go into the hung saw, where the hung saw is, you breathe in, hung, and then out, saw, hung, saw. So you're breathing like that rhythmically.
Okay.
And then you do that for a while, and then use your finger for the hung saw. So you just get your index finger of your right hand moving like hung, saw, like that.
Yeah.
And then afterwards you blow out the meditation. And then you go into what is called the divine. It's called the divine, where you concentrate on joy, calm, peace, love. Like 4 divine things that you want to focus on. So you try to concentrate on them. And I found that peace was like very hard for me to get into. I worked on that for a while, just the world and trying to get into that mentality, peace and love kind of, and try to do them together.
Are you just supposed to put yourself in, like when joy is said, or you just put yourself in a joyful place?
You just put yourself in a joyful place, and sometimes you might be smiling while you're meditating. Your eyes are closed, and you might be smiling because it was a joyful experience. So you bring those memories back, and then you have calm. That's where I try to go through my body parts and just try to relax them for the calm. And that's very nice. Sometimes I fall asleep. I'm out. It's like I wake up and but yeah, Michael gives you, he sends you a recording that he's made, and you can work with him. It's like him being there with you, or him leading the meditation. So that's really, my wife always uses that. She really likes that.
What are the boys on the varsity team? What do they say? Is it helping them? Are they liking it?
I don't think they're liking it, but I don't think they're practicing it.
Yeah. So I tried to do some meditation. I taught a leadership class in the fall, and I tried to do some meditation in the classroom with the students and their seniors, and sort of during a, I guess, semi-stressful time because they were all doing the college application stuff and it's pretty stressed, you know. So I thought doing some meditation would help, and I think part of the reason why it wasn't, I mean, I think they liked it, but I think they were also just sort of falling asleep sort of thing. I think if you do it in a setting that's like a classroom setting, I don't know if it works as well as if you go somewhere else. You know, if you go to a certain location to do this exercise. Like if you do meditation on the tennis court, it's hard to separate where you are from the exercise. Like if you do meditation in the classroom, it's like, all right, I got to get to my work in a second. Like I can't,
Right.
I got to separate that. So I think
Your mind's going too fast.
yeah, you got to go somewhere
down.
else. There's got to be a sacred
Yeah,
place
well,
to go.
With Michael, he would come to the house for our meditation sessions, and sometimes we'd do it outside. Go outside, you know, and that worked really well. That was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's also probably the adults, probably easier to handle in a big group because they're maybe, develop more and they really want to do this.
Yeah.
Instead of somebody, trying to push it on them when they're 17 years old or 18 years old. And I don't know how I would feel about that I probably think it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
I had a doctor try to hypnotize me one time. It's my father's friend. He was and he tried to hypnotize me because Paul Blair, who played center for the Baltimore Orioles, got beamed in the head with a pitch, and he had these, and naturally you get beamed in it. I mean, severe concussion. He was really whacked out, and kind of scared to get back in there. Who wouldn't be? I mean, throwing like 85 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour back in the day. Now they throw 90, 95, and that hits you in the head.
Yeah. You don't want to step up to the plate again.
Yeah. So he went to this doctor, my father's friend, and got hypnotized, and it worked. He came back and he played more seasons in the major leagues. I tried it when I was probably also in college. They came over for a party at my parents' house, and my father said, "Hey, why don't you hypnotize, Stephen?" So I said, "Okay, let's do it." I was in California, all the crazy stuff out there. So I said, "It's just no big deal," but I don't think it really worked. It's probably hard to work on one session, but it is a little.
They do a hypnotist here for the seniors. They have a hypnotist come in, and
There you go.
I think it works. I mean, they all come in.
It definitely works.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe the setting, at my house and the party, it wasn't really maybe right. Because and it kind of was thrown on me at the last minute. I wasn't prepared, maybe mentally. I don't know, it's all mental.
Who knows?
But yeah.
So let's get to the last question, Lightning. Are you doing any reading? Are you reading any more biographies? I know you read the Grant biography. I forget what you brought in last time we did a podcast, but I think you brought in maybe Robert E. Lee. You were reading a book about him. Anything recently?
I love the Civil War stuff. Watching this Civil War show now called Manhunt.
Oh yeah.
About the Lincoln assassination.
Yep.
And that's Apple Plus, I think. Just really into that stuff on the Civil War, reading some Civil War stuff. I don't know why I'm so into that, but I don't know. It's kind of weird, but I just feel that was a terrible time, but also one of the greatest times in American history, because you had white people, trying to free black people, and that's what they were fighting for. They were, no matter what people say, I don't care what they say, the Civil War was about slavery.
Mm-hmm.
South didn't want to give up their slaves because they were making a lot of money off them. Mm-hmm. And the white, the white people, the white Northerners, they fought for that. I think they say, save the Union was a big, they fought for that. But I think at the end of the day, they felt that this isn't right, what's going on, and we're gonna do something about it. And because it wasn't just like 100,000 slaves; there were millions.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was a great time to see. And today it's funny because as you mentioned, today is the surrender. Lee surrendered.
Yeah. Appomattox Courthouse.
Appomattox Courthouse today, April 9th, to Grant.
1865.
1865. Seneca Indian, was sort of in charge of the meeting of the peace agreement. That was pretty cool.
There's a good scene in I watched with my class. I'm teaching U.S. history this year. We watched a scene from the Ulysses Grant History Channel documentary, which is really good, of this surrender at Appomattox, and they've got hired actors in there, and they make it look really good. I mean, those History Channel reenactments
I love
great.
that stuff. I love that stuff. Yeah, I saw that on the History Channel. Yeah, the thing about Grant was wasn't doing great. His wife's father was, Confederate Southerner. I'm not, saying anything against him or anybody. He gave him some land to work and gave him a slave.
Yep.
Because they were like in Missouri. He had slaves, the father-in-law, and he had a big spread. He was wealthy off the slaves, and so they tried to work the land, make it go. Grant and this fellow, and they worked hard. Grant was a hard worker.
Yeah.
And they couldn't make it go. So he took him down to St. Louis to a place, and he freed him. Took him in and he freed him. This was his only asset that he had in life. And he said, you should be a free man, and I can't, pay you, and you should, this is it. But I thought that was just morally very, very, very cool.
Yeah.
And that sort of got me into Grant. And
I think Grant was always against slavery. I don't think his family owned slaves growing up, and it was only when he married this family, the Dent family, that he inherited this one slave. But it freed him. Got no money from it.
Father owned a tannery. He was working there for a while. Then he couldn't handle that. But yeah, you're right. You know your history. That's right. The Dent family. That is correct.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had his demons. We all do, but
yeah, he gets smeared because he drank or he was a drunk, right? But I think he's had a resurgence in the way history casts him after the biography you read and the History Channel remaking, and he was a great general.
Yeah, he could see the battlefield. He was very good with maps. He was a good organizer, and. He was a great general. Lincoln loved him because the other guys wouldn't fight. They just would sit there in the camp and not do anything. So of course, the North thought that, go down to Bull Run in 1860 would just knock off the Confederate Army right there, and that's the end of that will be the end. So people came out with buggies with their lunches and so the battle started they watched it from a distance, and they were going like, hey, this isn't over yet. What's going on? I mean, the South beat the heck out of them, and they were going like, we better get out of here. They hightailed it back into D.C. But they realized early on this was going to be a real battle, and it was. Mm-hmm. It was a terrible, terrible war. Most wars are, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible war. I mean, that was that was the highest rate of addiction to narcotics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, except for now with the opium problem. I mean, the opioid problem that we have now. That was right after the Civil War. So many people had their arms chopped off or their leg chopped off or, got a bullet hole in their side. And they went to narcotics, painkillers.
Oh, I didn't.
Huge,
I'm sure, but I
huge
didn't
increase.
didn't think about that.
Huge
Yeah.
increase, biggest increase since this opioid. What's that pill that I don't?
Fentanyl,
Yeah, fentanyl and the pill Oxycontin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never tried it.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
All right, Lightning. Well, a lot of good stuff in here. We got Grant. We got a little bit of tennis. We got some routine discussion. We're going to talk about the tennis team here at Gilman. And thanks for coming in. It was a great conversation.
Man. I just want to thank you, and thank you for your friendship. I know you're leaving Gilman. I'm going to miss you. I think it's a big loss for the school. Maybe we'll get you back. Maybe we'll get you and Andy to come back.
Yeah.
And make Baltimore your home. But I do wish you a lot of luck.
Thank you.
Like I say, thank you for your friendship. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.